Hello, everyone, and welcome to Plane Time number 28, coming to you live and in the clear here at the Florida Aviation Network. I'm Ben Coleman, your anchor host for today's presentation, and we are always privileged to have our volunteers help us here put on these productions. And this is streaming live, digital, and since it's live, anything that happens to go other than planned is not planned. But it's live, and that's the reason that it's, some people get a little bit uptight, but life is real, and it's live. So we'll push through our mistakes, and we are privileged to have, our guest today has traveled more than I would like to imagine in his world of aviation, and I can't think of anyone that I respect more in this industry. And he is the Honorable, I call him Honorable, and he sometimes has a different opinion of that, but no. John Goglia. John, welcome to Plane Time.
Thank you.
And I mean that sincerely. And John, we have known each other for many, many years.
Too many.
But we're not done yet. We did this 20 years ago.
Yes,
you recall?
Yes, I
do. In our studios there at Lakeland and the Florida at the FAA Safety Center back many years ago. I was with the FAA, and you had just come out of the NTSB, and I'm proud to say, and not many people realize this, but John, what do you do? What are you?
I'm a mechanic.
I'm a mechanic too, and I'm proud of it. And I tell you what. How many board members for the National Transportation Safety Board have been mechanics?
Me, one.
So there's a problem with that, John. We need more.
Well, we do need more. We need maintenance people to be recognized for their skills that they bring, you know, the knowledge, their skills, and their abilities. And that has not been, in the past, that has not occurred. And that has actually become my mission, to put us, all of us, out in the face of the industry and be recognized for what we bring to the table. Because without the skills that we bring to the table, many, many airplanes would not be flying. And I'm not talking about ones that go into overhaul and come out. I'm talking about the ones on the line every single day that pilots bring in with problems, sometimes creative problems. And if it wasn't for the skill of the people that are working in what we call line maintenance and working on those airplanes, your flights would not be on time. I mean, we do take delays, but I'm talking about substantial delays, because the knowledge and the skills that the people that work for the airlines and for scheduled carriers bring to the table, and their ability to make meaningful repairs on very, very short time periods is amazing.
And John, I'm not going to get back into your background and your history. It's all on the internet, and our time here is too valuable because we have a takeaway and an announcement that I don't even think you know about it yet. but we're taking this. We're going to step it up a notch with social media, and this is why right now you are the president of Professional Aviation Maintenance Association.
That's correct.
And that is going to be morphing into Professional Aerospace Maintenance Association.
That's right. So we're going to put our arms around a segment of the industry that has not been recognized, even though, and I'm proud to say, one of our competitions, one of the other hats that I wear is the Aerospace Skills Competition. We have it every year in April, conjunction with the MRO America show. And the reason why we're there is because typically they bring about 14,000 people from the aviation community, and we put on a show. I'll call it a show, but it's an exhibit of some of the skills that mechanics possess. And this past year we had 27 different areas of testing that they have to show their stuff. And one of the things that's been a big disappointment to me in the beginning when I started that competition is the number of people that came to me. Remember, this is an aviation-related conference. 14,000 people that make their living in aviation. And they would come up to me and say things like, I have no idea you guys did all this. And it's I mean, really, who do you think keeps your airplanes moving every day? So that was one of my missions, was to get the face behind maintenance out to the general public, especially the aviation community public. So I think we've been successful with that, but I'm not done. We have some other things to do.
Well, John, I'm going to just come right out and say it, but tell us how you feel. John is one that you never really have to worry about what's on John's mind, because he's going to tell you, he's going to let you know. And that's what I appreciate, is sometimes it comes across a little crass, a little gruff, but it needs to. And but because not everything is rose petals in the industry, and you got to rise to whatever occasion that's necessary to get the job done as professional and as proper as possible. And mediocrity, there's no room for mediocrity in this business.
Well, I learned that you can't, as a maintenance person, you can't sit back and let others define what you are and what you do. And as I moved up to become part of the NTSB, sometimes I had to say and do things that I probably wouldn't normally. Right? But to make the point and to get the recognition, I'm going to get in your face. And I have to many people, including in high places.
Well, high-level officials, I know that I did talk with one of them after one of your meetings, and they were a little bit nervous because they didn't know what John Goglia was going to have to say about this. And I said, well, that's good, because John's going to tell you what you need to hear. And that's the reason that we're going to proliferate this as much as possible. And again, these little things here, called a cell phone, used to be called a personal device, a PDA. But we have got to utilize that more, because things are different in this day and age as far as our communication. And you were talking last night about the skill levels, and it's not just about being able to work upside down with eyeballs on the end of your fingertips to get to that nut or fastener that you have to get to. Communication skills, accounting, knowledge in general, as far as being a business person or businessman, woman. It's more than just being able to pull a wrench, to be a good professional mechanic. And like you said, without maintenance, you wouldn't have that salmon that you're enjoying at night at Red Lobster.
That's right. That's right.
We have got so much to be thankful for, and what a challenge! I mean, the youth. We have got to pull the youth more into this, because they've got to understand how much fun it is when you do roll that aircraft out and you realize that I was the last one that buttoned up that cowling, and I know that everything that I did was proper and right. If that's the biggest takeaway from this, I would hope that folks would run with that. And John, there's a organization, the Aviation Hall of Fame. You were recognized this year. And how many mechanics are recognized in the Aviation Hall of Fame?
Well, when Congress created the National Aviation Hall of Fame back in the 60s, and on its inauguration, they brought in the Wright brothers and Charlie Taylor, the Wright brothers mechanic. And there's a hole after that. There's no mechanics since that time. It's over 60 years, no mechanics. There's been 5 or so people, pilots, that had mechanic certificates. However, they were inducted or enshrined into the National Hall of Fame because of something they did as pilots or engineers, not as mechanics. So I am the first one, and I'm disappointed to say that, but I'm proud to say it, that I'm going to lead the charge and make sure that we get some more recognition for our people in a number of different forums. Right, so I've had a lot of people recognize me, and organizations recognize me, and but I'm not going to let that rest on just me and forget about it. I am going to continue to push that maintenance people get recognized for what they do.
Well, John, I unfortunately wasn't able to know Charles Taylor, the gentleman that actually made.
Listen to my podcast, and Greg Fife will tell you that I was taught to fly from the Wright brothers.
Greg, we're going to get you, buddy. We're going to get Hollywood. We're going to get Hollywood and dig into some of his past as well. But I wish that I understand that he was the unsung hero, and he was a mild gentleman. He not much bravado. He didn't pound himself on the chest. Look what I did. And there's a lot of similarities between Charles Taylor and John Goglia, because you don't pound yourself on the chest. You don't look for these accolades. These awards that come to you it's naturally earned, and that's to be recognized, because too many folks in the world is look at me. You are a look at us type of a guy, and that's the reason that I think that you have been so successful. It's not all about John. It's about the world, and we're going to try to get through this without getting emotionally choked up, because we're passionate as hell about this industry. And
yeah, take a breath. I need a couple.
Yeah, but we've got a lot to do. We've got a lot done. But 80 is the new 40. Did you know that, John?
I hope so.
So we're going to have some more good times, some fun, and a sense of humor. There's a time and a place for it. When we're talking about aviation safety, we're serious. We're deadly serious about what we do to prevent accidents, and we are going to continue that plight. Your podcast, tell us a little bit about the podcast that you and Greg, I guess primarily, and Todd. I don't think I've met Todd.
I don't think so either. So we started the podcast just to share with people what we see from accidents. Not just the accident report, but there's always backstories that never make the grade. And I have one personal one with an accident that I was involved with as a mechanic for Allegheny Airlines. That's how far back it goes. And during the course of an investigation, we discovered that the lanyard that attaches to the floor of the airplane and to the emergency escape slide that's on the door, that lanyard is critical. When you open the door, it pulls the slide out of the housing that it's in and inflates the slide, triggers the inflation process. We discovered that lanyard was nylon, which like ballistic nylon, lasts a long time, but it was sewn together with cotton thread. Mm. And the thread had deteriorated, and so once you put some pressure on the lanyard, it just came apart. So in an emergency, when you open the door, the slide didn't deploy. Mm. And that's what happened on this accident. It wasn't a total loss. It was off the end of the runway type accident. And we have an inspection on those, but if the inspection was not adequate, and as a result of that, we, the maintenance people that were on that accident, we changed the process right there on the floor, and it was implemented. That's the things we bring to the table. It's not always the accident and the cause of it. It's oftentimes the things on the side that we see that are not right, that we move forward and try to fix them. So on the podcast, we raise those, and we hope to, both in pilots and maintenance people and others, get them to come forward with what they see. Today, what are we seeing? We're seeing an ocean of accidents involving poor pre-flights, poor training on the part of pilots. And I tell, almost in every issue we do, we podcast once a week, on every one at the end, I tell the pilot community, if you want to know how to do a good pre-flight in your airplane, find a mechanic that works on your airplane, and they'll show you where the critical places are to look. Because I talk to pilots and watch them do their walk-arounds all the time, and I shake my head. So we're all in this together. We are our brother's keeper, yeah. All of us, and sisters. And we need to pull together and eliminate some of these, I want to call them stupid, events that occur that never should occur.
Well, and John, again, I'm not going to get into a phonetics or too much of a terminology debate, but ignorance is one thing. we can fix ignorance. We can tune you up. We can learn you how to do stuff. But there's some things out there that happen to just stupid. And I understand where you're coming from there. And you got to call it. You got to call it ace and ace. A queen. Speaking of our queens, women in aviation. Laura Spoler she is like a bull terrier pup, tearing into getting women more involved in aviation, and she's quite impressive. She's got an impressive background.
Well, I'll tell you what, Laura helped me recognize the role of women, and on our competition, we're very proud of the fact that we've helped. I know it's over 150. We've done a lousy job of tracking it, but it's well over 100 women get jobs in this business, right? And reaching out to all the other minorities in this world and trying to get them involved through the competition. Mm-hmm. I tell people, once you come to the competition, you're hooked on it. You can't get rid of them.
I know. And ladies in aviation, it's hard to get that in some inspection panels. And I've had to ask Melody, my wife, dear, will you come and can you get to that pulley, please? Because her petite hand, and the delicacy of, and I think, I'm just going to come right out and say it, I think ladies are a lot more delicate with tools and machinery and equipment and systems than some of the bulls in the china shop that I know. Guys just get a bigger wrench, get a bigger hammer, only if you have to in some cases. But we're going to get a lot more accomplished. And Richard, or Rich we call him, he's coming along. Laura has taught him well. And I think he's going to do something. He's going to make something of himself someday. That was for you, Rich, and I know I'm going to pay for that. Sorry. But let's not forget, Rich just received the highest award for maintainer at American Airlines. And that was a beautiful plaque I saw. And there is so much to be recognized, and it's not because it's because of his dedication to the business. It's because of his knowledge and photography. And he's perfection about, as far as I know about Rich, everything that he does. So, and I'm not looking for a job, Rich, and you don't have to pay me later. That was on the house. But we need that type of dedication.
Before you go on, I'd like to go back a minute.
Go.
Right, it's the competition. One of the things that we have seen come out of the competition is suddenly the recognition that the airlines have for their maintenance people. Now, it's partially because there's a big shortage, and they've recognized the problem that's causing them in their operation. But United Airlines has awards for their mechanics. American does. I believe Southwest also does. So the airlines are starting to recognize the maintenance people within their organizations for what they bring to the table. We need to expand that to the business community and to the general aviation community. In awards and recognition, a lot of folks, they don't take the time, and it sometimes takes time to put these packages and nominations together, but please, we encourage you that if you know of a mechanic that has gone above and beyond, gotten up at the 3 o'clock in the morning to go check something that just they want to make sure before that 5 o'clock push, recognize them, bring them to the forefront, and it's not that they expect it, but we have our mentorships. We're disappearing. The old guys. I used to be the young bull. Now I'm the old bull, and I'm looking for young bulls all the time. And the ladies, anytime at a bar the other day. I guess I can say that. I guess I already did. So the bartender said that she likes to work on cars. She's a mechanic. I said, really? And I said, show me your hands. She held her hands up. She didn't have those 4-inch long fingernails. A little bit of grease under her fingernail. I said, you are a mechanic. And I said, why do you like? I just like fixing things. Always have, from a little girl. And I said, well,
do you know anything about aircraft? He says, well, yeah, I've traveled before. He says, you know who keeps the aircraft going? Well, the pilots. Who do you think turns it over? Who do the pilots go to say, is this airplane good to go? Is it ready to fly? They got to go through mechanics. The mechanics release the aircraft. The maintenance organization released the aircraft. And she said, well, how do I learn more about this? So I turned her on to, you ever heard of the internet? And there's just a myriad of information that is available out there, but resourcing. And I said, the first thing is to learn how to get to these go-to people. And everybody has, you had a go-to guy when you were coming up, didn't you?
Not only coming up, I've had people all throughout my life. In fact, I now start to openly discuss that while I was with the NTSB, I had what politicians call a kitchen cabinet. I had people scattered throughout this entire industry that I could pick up the phone and call and get the straight scoop, straight information about a problem that was going on. Mm-hmm. And I tell you that within the halls of government, you don't always get the straight information. It's filtered, it's twisted.
John, I wasn't aware of that. Are you serious?
Yeah, you were one of the guys that were twisting the truth.
No. I was trying to straighten it out, but I found out what was caused it. But
yeah, so we have a big business. We have a big industry, and it's a good industry. And I say this in my presentations. If we take a problem and get it on top of the table, the industry will fix it. Mm-hmm. But boy, is it hard to get that item up on the table. Mm. And but the resistance sometimes is quite level, is quite high.
And the worst possible time is, unfortunately, in the aftermath of an accident. And that's usually when a lot of this is exposed. But we don't have to wait until there's an accident. And this is, I'm going to get a little bit into the weeds here, but we investigate primarily in the NTSB, the facts, conditions, circumstances, and fatal accidents we launch. Sometimes if there's a control issue or an in-flight fire and there's no injuries, we would still launch if it was a high visibility type of a situation. But there's so much that we're losing by investigating the occurrences that all by the grace of God, it did not turn out to be a bad fatal accident.
And what's wrong with that is that oftentimes those events that occur are really precursors, right? And they're crying out, pay attention to this issue, because it's going to get bad at one point in time. Mm-hmm. And when we go back to do the podcast, we go back from the probable cause of accidents and go back as far as we can with the paper trail. And sometimes we actually call people up. And to find out that, oh yeah, I had a problem with the airplane for the last 3 months, but I couldn't fix it. I asked the mechanic in the field, he couldn't figure it out, so I just kept flying. I mean, really, you got a problem, find out what the cause is and solve it, and don't just keep flying it. And we lost a doctor, 3 doctors actually, in a Mooney accident that I worked, and he kept troubleshooting his airplane. I have a problem with my autopilot. It wanders. I have a problem with the autopilot. Well, after the accident, we found out it wasn't a problem with his autopilot. The damn bolt that holds the elevator on had backed out or was backing out, and it was loose and flopping back there. So even while he was trying to correct it, or the autopilot was trying to correct it, there was a lot of lost motion in the movement because the cotter pin and the nut had taken a walk. Right? You could see it in plain sight. He had performed many walkarounds. Why didn't he see that first I would be looking for cotter pins wherever they are, but the cotter pin took a walk, but if the nut was still there, maybe it masked it, but here the nut was gone as well, and it's right in your face if you do a walk around. Yeah. And we lost 3 very talented doctors because of a stupid mistake, a pre-flight that wasn't done properly. Very frustrating for accident investigators to come onto a scene and see that we lost 3 people and then find out that it was something that should never have happened.
Well, the term, and it's kind of batted around very flippantly, is kick the tires, light the fires. And that
happens at every level.
Yeah.
You know, I worked for an FBO, And I oftentimes would sit in the windows overlooking the ramp and watch corporate airplane pilots do their walk-arounds. I tell you, and if it had rained and they were walking around outside, they were more interested in not getting their fancy shoes wet than they were looking at the airplane. And sometimes on nice, wonderful days, they'd be out looking at the sun and looking all around. They walked around the airplane, but they didn't look at it very much.
It was truly a walk-around, not a pre-flight inspection.
Right.
I would always know that a real pilot is, I flew a lot, the Navajos quite a bit, and if I had somebody go around and do a pre-flight on a Navajo, if they didn't have grease on the back of their shirt from going up underneath and checking the J-hooks on the gear, and there's no way to get under there without at least bumping the wing. And of course, then my next question is, well, why is the wing so dirty? So and you know that's not dirt, John. That's on landing gear and stuff like that. You know it's not dirt, grime. You know what it is?
What?
It's hide-a-crack. You can take that one to the bank. So if you can't see it, you can inspect it. All right? That's the reason we keep aircraft clean, Rich. So we've learned a lot in this first, 120 some years? But we haven't learned near enough.
And it's a changing environment. You know, aviation is dynamic. It's also always changing. And we think we're in the cutting edge of everything, but we're certainly not in the cutting edge of communications. Mm-hmm. You know, we still have a breakdown of maintenance people don't talk to engineers. Engineers talk down to maintenance people. Some pilots enjoy talking to their maintenance people. Other pilots, it's bare minimum communication. So we need to change that as well.
Well, and we will. We will. We're going to leave a lasting impression. And I know I'm not going to leave as big of a footprint as you are, but and the FAA.
The only reason why I have a bigger footprint is I'm the spokesman for however many mechanics there are in this business. I'm no different than any other mechanic. I know mechanics that are far better than I am, right? But I'm just become the voice and the face to push this out, to push. Yeah, I got a face for radio. Right?
You got a face for radio.
But I'm pushing the skill. I'm pushing the craft out.
John, we're going to develop this more in segment 2, but we're going to wind this segment up. And remember the FAA verification code word at the end of these presentations. Remember that. If you are in the program, get into the program if you're not. And remember, the FAA, the FAA, we're here to help you. We are, there are many great people in the FAA, and we're going to pull them up and maybe take the others and kind of shove them in the background a little bit. We'll see you in segment number 2. We're going to start that in just a few minutes. Don't go away. Verification code word.